deal? What's the deal? Back in the mix, man. With another one. Yeah. Now we got an interesting, little topic on this one right here. So hold on to your hats. Now, this right here is going to kind of piggyback off of a few things that I've been speaking on over the past couple of months. You know, with the as far as like the AIDS thing and Sylvester. When I was telling y'all about the about how they use by him being a popular gay man or gay singer, they used him sort of as a poster child to bait in or lure in other gay people to basically go turn themselves over to the hands of the medical industry and pretty much get killed under the guise of this phony virus or disease that they're calling HIV or AIDS or whatever, which never existed. Like I said, what they do is basically get you to come in. Basically, they use guys like him to raise the awareness or or to put the this pseudo designer ailment. I use him to bring awareness to it. And when the people come in to get the check or so many words, what they do is basically decide who they want to lie to and say you have it or you don't, and then basically two ways they get you. For one, they get you to believe that you're dying or you've got a death sentence. Two, they give you the medicine to reinforce the sickness. It's like I always say, you look at those those commercials where they advertising these I don't know what you would call them, I guess these designer well, I don't want to say designer, but these these weird medicines with these weird names, and then they give you tell you the side effects of them, may cause diarrhea, may cause this, may cause that. Man, all of the things that now mind you, when we was growing up, we didn't have these commercials. That was we did this is pretty much a relatively speaking a new phenomenon. Maybe over the past 15 years, these because even comedians, I remember when they first started airing them, comedians was even speaking on them and making jokes like, well, goddamn, the side effects is worse than the fucking shit you're trying to cure by taking this shit. And what they was doing was showing you, and putting it in your face and showing you, because if you got something wrong with you, and then whatever disease that they're trying to tell you that they have a cure for through this drug, and they're telling you, well, the side effects may cause death. It's like, well, shit. You telling me you got this medicine that can help with a stomach ailment, but then the symptoms are bleeding out the ear, diarrhea, suicidal thoughts, etc., etc., etc. Now let me ask you a question. Some of these side effects that these drugs induce, if you were to have those if you was to, for some reason, or whatever reason, have some of these symptoms, right? And you say, well, let me go to the doctor. And then you go to the doctor. Well, let's just say well, you go to the doctor, whatever. Just, you get what I'm saying. You go to the doctor, and they say, well, you have HIV or AIDS or whatever. You probably believe it, but you would believe it because, for one, we already programmed to believe that the doctors know everything or whatever. So you believe it, right? Whatever. But I'm wanting to say that's not the case. When you look at the game that they run, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, they come up out of the blue. That's the biggest trick they did. They could do. Tell you that it's a disease that's out there running rampant when it's not, and then say you need to come get tested. Make sure you ain't got it. When you come and get tested, they say, "Oh, you got it." Then they give you the medicine. You might not even be having no symptoms or no shit. You just going to get tested or whatever just to be safe. You might not even have no goddamn symptoms. When you get in there, okay, you fall for it. Then they give you the drugs that's supposed to be helping you. The drugs, the AZT, what they call it, bring on the symptoms, or you might be good when you go in there because you really don't got shit anyway. But when you go in there and they tell you, by them being a doctor, you believe them, then they drop the cherry on top by giving you these drugs. The more you start taking the drugs, the more you start having, you start developing different symptoms. You're not looking at it, or the person will not look at it like it's the drug. They're thinking like, oh, this is the disease getting more aggressive as you proceed or whatever. When the whole while it's the fucking shit they giving you. How we know? Why? Because they telling you in these commercials, all them side effects that they be saying that through the medicines can cause. It's drugs like pills and shit that bring about those type of symptoms or those type of ailments. Is what they give to people who they very well have nothing wrong with them, and then these things start to cause diarrhea, aggressive diarrhea, bleeding out the ear, or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And then they use that to further play on you believing, plus your mind makes it real. That's why I tell people, you wonder why, you be like, well, why is, nobody ever asked, but if you think about it, the reason why weight loss is associated with AIDS is because, not because you're dying due to a disease, it's because when they tell you some shit like that, it's so devastating, it fucks your natural appetite up. I'm gonna give you an example. When I came from trial, after I got my 10 years or whatever, I was on the phone with my girl and shit. And it's funny, I show you how spiritual shit be. When I called, I think her niece picked the phone up. She was like, tell him, hold on, I'm in here cooking. So, she was just finishing cooking or something like that. And she came to the phone. When she came to the phone, I'm like, what's up? Ooh, she like, shit, nothing, blah, 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 getting ready to eat. You know, I just finished cooking, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah. When I told her I got 10 years, it fucked her up so much. When I told her I got 10 years, her niece was bringing her a plate. When the plate got to her, she said, I don't even want them. I'm not hungry no more. I know that feeling because it been situations where, you know, something happened, you might be hungry or you stressed out about something, you lose your appetite. It just never was no disease, no shit like that. It'd be some other shit or whatever. But same way she lost her appetite because she heard some disturbing information. Same thing with this shit. Motherfucker tell you some shit like that. Of course, you gonna lose your appetite and not and may not eat as much or whatever. That's a part. That's a part of the whole game plan. So when you stop, that's where the whole slimming down shit come from, as well as the medicine that they fuck around and give you probably suppress your appetite or some shit like that. Who knows? But they use celebrity to bring your awareness to these things. When this thing first was jumping off, now you see it never was a thing really. That's why now it's like they say, oh, you can take medicine where it's undetectable in the body, but that's because they won't let it go. If it's undetectable, that means you don't have the shit. So which one is, if I can, you gotta look at how these people talk to us. If it's undetectable, that means it's not there. Oh, it's there, you just can't detect. Well, how the fuck? Come on, man. But anyway, I want to get too much because this ain't necessarily about that, but it's just trying to tie in everything. But I use that as an example. So when she said she wasn't hungry no more, I can understand that because when certain shit happen, certain things can happen where you could be hungry and then you hear some bad news or some shit and then you'll lose your appetite or whatever. So that's one thing. But I just want to get that in there. But they use this to it was targeted at two groups of people who, to one degree or another, can be looked upon as undesirables within America, and that was homosexuals and black people. They say it started off as a gay disease. The next thing you know, it was running rampant in the black community, and black people are leading just like everything else. Black people leading high blood pressure. Black people leading this and black. Now high blood pressure and heart disease and all that shit, that's a little bit more different because we got a fucked up diet with the pork and the greasy foods and shit. So that's really a thing. They may exaggerate it a little bit, but that's really could be a thing. But this is some shit that's just some out of the blue type shit, or some shit that they pumping you with. Cause think about it, Easy when Easy passed, if it's a sexually transmitted disease, how come none of his kids had it and none of the women he had sex with had it, or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So it goes to show you it's a selective process. They didn't have it because it's not a real thing. They killed him with something else and told him it was a. That's why I think in that movie in Strata Compton, I don't even know if this. I know how they be taking scenes out of the shit, but I seen the movie before, but I can't remember. I gotta be safe these days because they be taking shit out and putting shit in, so I don't want to say this and you go watch the movie. Well, I didn't see that part, but I seen this on a scene from the movie on YouTube where when he got diagnosed with it, he was like, man, I don't even feel bad. You know, the actor was playing him saying, I don't even feel bad. I don't know if Easy actually said that, but I think that was trying to give you a sign when telling you that or showing you that part, like, you know, and everybody was saying, everybody around was like, man, he wasn't even sick and shit, like, you know, he wasn't even sick and shit. So, and like I said, they said he had, if I'm not mistaken, he was saying something. He was complaining about his chest, or he had bronchitis or something like that, and that's what initially caused him to go see the bullshit. Probably had chest congestion from drinking milk, you know, or eating some other fucking shit that caused congestion. And, you know, I got bronchitis, and you go in there, that's how they get you in. That's why I'm telling y'all about the milk and the cheese and all that shit, how that shit all run together use that as a way. As soon as you come in that bitch, oh, I can't stop coughing up mucus. Oh, you got AIDS. It's like, no, that ain't the case. You coughing up mucus because you keep eating mucus producing foods. But that gives them an avenue to tell you got this other shit, and then give you some medicine to really fuck you out for whatever. But to bring it back to what this thing is about, I remember Bobby was speaking about this movie called, which Sylvester. Now this was Sylvester come back in the thing there too. I was telling y'all how the government could have feared him, because when he went down in South America, they started calling him that snake lady, but they were saying it in whatever language. They were saying it in whatever language they was. Because it's a million. It's a whole lot of goddamn. There's so many. I can't remember what. I think it was Nigala Ball or something. I can't remember what they were calling them. That's a name too for snake. But really, Nigala Ball is just the nigga in the ball. The nigga. The nigga, which is nigga, or the snake, the serpent, and the ball, which would be the earth that's created by the nigga. As we all know, this right here, the nigga ball. The nigga ball. The nigga, the serpent, and the ball, or whatever. Now, but I remember once upon a time Bobby was speaking about this movie called Paris is Burning. Now Paris is Burning is a movie about the gay ball scene in New York in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. I know the movie came out in the 90s, but and I have to, go back to what he was saying when he was speaking on it, which was, he was like, this is why you can't be, when it comes down to tracking spiritual energy or spiritual occurrences, you can't be all judgmental. Now, I always try to get, me, I'm a Virgo, so I get a little bit more in detail about shit when it comes to being judgmental. I don't say we all have to judge or exercise a sense of discernment when it comes to things in life. So that's why I don't just say. So I understand we all understand what it means when we say, "Oh, it's not good to judge people." But that's not what we're really trying to say. What we're really trying to say is, you want to watch, or you want to try not to allow yourself to treat people based off of the fact that they may do things a little different than you do, or not in the same way that you do. But we just say, we judge it, don't judge. So, but no, you're supposed to judge shit. You're supposed to judge, is this food ready yet? You're judging. Is this a good person I should be hanging with? You're judging. That's using a sound mind to judge whether or not. So when we say, you shouldn't judge, we really, you shouldn't be judgmental or something like that. We're kind of using it out of context, if you ask me, because you have everybody has to judge. You're supposed to judge. Well, okay, is this right? Or whatever. So, but what we really be trying to say is, you shouldn't be so quick to be heavy-handed on somebody, or turn your nose up on somebody based off of, in this case, we'll say like this right here. Now, 20, 30 years ago when I was a youngster, if you would have just came and said, hey man, outside of the spiritual context, but you came and said, hey man, y'all ever seen Paris is Burning? It's about a gay ball scene. Nigga be like, man, we ain't even watching that, bro. Or I walked in the house, walked into somewhere, some girls was watching this shit. You be like, what's this? And then look, start seeing allegations. They're like, oh, no, we good. You know what I'm saying? Nigga would have, probably wouldn't even pay no mind because we all manly and shit or whatever. But see, now as a more mature male within the context of spirituality, because like I always say, a person can be gay, but they can still be conscious or spiritual. So you might be out and about somewhere or mingling in a social setting, and it might be a gay conscious person who can enlighten you and give you a major jewel or whatever. Or like Bob used to say, he just like give you a major jewel or whatever. But if you choose to disregard that person, it's like Bobby said, I ain't gotta judge them based off of their sexual preference. I ain't gotta kiss the nigga either though. I ain't gonna kiss the nigga either. You ain't gotta kiss a nigga. God, I always remember that part when he said that shit. He's like, I ain't gotta be judgmental, and I ain't gotta kiss a nigga either. But and I didn't say you gotta hang with them and be, cause my thing is people, we live in a world where people say birds of a feather flock together and all this shit, which that's true too. That's not, we've said as if it's 100% true, but it's not always true. This nigga might do some shit. I might hang with a nigga that do some shit I don't even fuck with. I ain't into, but that's him. You be like, they must. But that's why, niggas be like, that's why straight men such as myself, that's why we careful about how we interact and deal with gay people or whatever. Because we don't call it what you want. I don't want nobody thinking I'm gay, or I'm quite sure any straight man. Some niggas be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm confident in my, like, yeah, I am too, but there's just certain things, certain ways nigga move and shit. That you wouldn't want to be perceived as that. That's just me, But once you become truly conscious, you learn how to put your personal biases to the side for research purposes. If you are mature in your mentality or whatever. Just like what that was I was dealing with not too long ago. Man, I forgot what it was, but it was something I was building on, and it was some shit I wasn't really interested in, but anyway. But now, when he was talking about this movie, he was saying that the movie, he say the government went in there, and after these dudes made this movie, he said the government went in and killed most of them guys. Because when they watched the movie, what they saw was guards. And he was absolutely fucking right about that. He didn't go into detail about it. But I will go into detail. Yes, sir. Yeah. These niggas were some magical niggas. Gay or not, you know what I'm saying? I say, these dudes, I'm gonna show you in a minute. Once we get into this shit, you're gonna see. But that's why I appreciate, scholarship from people like Bobby, because it would take a guy like him to even come across have some shit like this come across his table, and then a lot of niggas probably be I'm not gonna deal with that. They might think I'm gay or some shit, or probably wouldn't even be conscious enough to, even if they did watch it, probably wouldn't even be. If it wasn't for the statues and shit, they give you dead giveaways and shit. Egyptian statues and shit. But if but you know, them niggas probably wouldn't even be able to come and report this type of shit to you out of fear, thinking that you might look at them a certain way. Me personally, I'll tell you straight up. You ask anybody that know me, bro, from growing up, you now this might seem like a far stretch, pause, but if you really look at a nigga like me and how I always rock, I always been the nigga who not too far off the fucking, not too out of the way, but I always been a unique type of nigga. I'm the nigga that I was the nigga who would come to school half hair braided, you know, on some goddamn, you know, wild man shit, you know. When that shit, when niggas barely was even wearing braids when I started rocking my shit. Niggas had just started that shit. Or, you know, I'm the nigga that wear some shoes that was different and shit. And, you know, so many words, what I'm trying to say is, one thing you should know about me right now, I never really gave a fuck about what a motherfucker, to a certain degree. I always tell y'all, you don't want to be the nigga that, I don't give a fuck what nobody think and just be, no, I give a fuck to, it's a certain degree though. Well, you know, you want to have some type of concern about how you're viewed by the outside world, but you don't want that to have too much control over you to the point to where you don't know how to express your individuality. So for the most part, but when it comes from shit like this, homosexuality and shit, now I'm too real of a nigga, and I couldn't live. Me as a person, I couldn't live if giving a fuck about what motherfuckers say enough to keep some shit like that here. Now, I'm the type of nigga that have been just tell you what it is. But that ain't the case with me. So, so I don't have a problem with sitting in front of you, and I'm glad because it's funny because, like I said, I spoke about the Sylvester thing not too long ago, probably about a month or two ago, beginning of the summer, something like that, right before the summer started. And I had already heard about this movie, but I had never went and looked for it. And I think after I did the Sylvester, after I did that one East Meets West joint where I was talking about Sylvester and the whole AIDS thing. I think a little bit after that, probably that night or a little bit the day after, I was thinking about that movie, and I was gonna go try to look it up on Tubi. But before I even got a chance to look it up on Tubi, I ran across it on YouTube, or whatever. I said, "Oh yeah, here you go, right here. Let me go check it out real quick." So when I watched it, excellent movie. Now I say as a straight man, you have to put your now I understand it from that perspective. You have to suspend your not the it ain't like you gonna be ain't no gay sex scenes and no shit like that. And even if you got a few raunchy scenes where they but they block them, it's blurred out. You know what I'm saying, when they get too crazy. But it ain't no wild orgy type shit. It's basically the balls or pageants or but they're balls, because pause. Let me say this first, and I'll explain what the ball is. But it's basically underground fashion shows ran by gay guys or whatnot. And I would assume gay women or whatever. But magical shit though. So they'll it's certain scenes where the guy is walking the runway or walking the run or whatever, naked or whatever, they'll have it blocked out or some shit like whatever. So a few of those, ain't nothing major though, like a 1 or 2 scene, whatever, but nothing to get all in your feelings about it. If you really want to see what the fuck I'm talking about, you go watch it. Now, if you don't have the guts to do it, or you feel like you can't stomach it or whatever, it ain't nothing crazy anyway. I would advise you, especially if you're conscious, to go out. And I'm gonna show you why when I get into breaking this shit down. And because like I said, this shit was this is a bad motherfucker right here, boy. I ain't gonna lie. I have to salute them guys too, gay or not, because one thing that this movie demonstrated was, or corroborated was one of the things I always tell people about all of us being, or how you can learn a lot by, okay, our differences are obvious. So you really don't get too much, that's just obviously stated. But if you could put your differences to the side and see how you relate to somebody, or how your similarities, you can learn something in those pockets or whatever. Pause. And I'm finna show you that shit. Now, first and foremost, so they dealing with, we'll get into it. Now, first and foremost, they these guys are having what they call the balls or whatever. I ain't finna keep saying pause. I'm gonna say pause. I'm gonna talk about the balls. But, and the funny thing about it is, they ain't talking about nothing different than the shit you talking about when you saying you a baller. I'm balling. So I'm saying ball. Let's not get it twisted. Even though this is about gay balls, pause. A ball is nothing more than a party. It's gonna even be a scene in there where one of the elder statesmen within their little thing says these young kids wouldn't know a ball if it hit them in the head. And then right after he say that, they show him in drag, right? But the style of drag he was in was like some shit you probably see on, what's that show? Bridgerton or something. Or party, one of the more English parties or some shit, with the big, they be having the big hair and, one of the more English ball. But a ball is nothing more than a party or having fun. That's why when we say we balling, want to be a baller, balling, we now associate balling with having money. But actually a ball is a party. Back to the fever. The ball, the dance floor, where they're partying at, the ball, the circle. What Mike said, I think it was on Billie Jean when he said something about the round or whatever, but he's talking about the dance floor. So when we say we balling, we basically saying we having a good time, because we equate partying with having a good time. So the way it became associated with, and this is my theory, well, really ain't even a theory, you just, shit is common sense. This is how balling became associated with having money, because the more money you have, the more fun shit you can do. Therefore, you ride on 24s and you want to buy big chains and, and you ain't knocking it. I'm just using it as an example. All that shit is by just having a good time. I've never done this shit before, but I can imagine having enough money to say, okay, yeah, nigga, let's come on MTV, take you to my crib and shit. We'll take you with a day with me. Yeah, we finna go jewelry shopping. Now I'm going to get some clothes. Okay, give me the 22s for my new Hummer and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? I would imagine that shit is having fun. Balling. So balling just means having a party. Or whatever. Now we might have to get over there this is going. Anyway. So I just in the ball shit. It's fucking me up. I'm really telling myself, hey, I might have to pause it up around this motherfucker, but now one of the things Bobby was saying was he said first and foremost, well, he didn't say that, but he basically something. One of the things I remember saying was, what's one of the nicknames for gay guys? They call gay guys fairies, right? spiritual shit right there. So that's some magical shit right there. Two, you got the androgyny aspect of it. Although we're not even though with them it's a little further than say Mike or Prince, because those two wasn't gay, they were just androgynous figures. But with the gay guys, it's androgyny there. It's just that they take it all the way there with the sexual aspect of it, or the sexual act, as opposed to somebody that's androgynous to the point where they may have, do feminine things, but not necessarily, they might have a feminine flair to their apparel or something, or something like that, or even earrings and shit. Like, man's supposed to only have one earring, and nigga might put two earrings in just to get on some androgynous shit, but nothing too crazy, or whatever. But with the gay guys, it's still androgyny because they're men doing women shit. It's just that they go all the way with the sexual act, as opposed to somebody that's just doing it on the strength of androgyny. Or really, you don't have to do shit. Androgyny can show up on its own. Like I say, my eyebrows and my eyelashes and shit. Like I told you, one chick I was talking to, she her mother told her to ask me, where do I get my eyes done at, or my eyes waxed or some shit, I'm like, I don't. Shit, that is natural. But it comes from my mama, because I look, people say, man, my mama like twins. So I understand where they come from. Like, the eyes and that's mom. Everybody has a sense of androgyny because you have a little bit of your mother in you, you have a little bit of your father in you, or whatever. So whatever that thing that is about you that makes you look like your mother would be the androgynous aspect. So I don't never do anything. I know all this shit, but I don't never do nothing. I don't never go out my way. That's saying ultimately androgynous. You want to really get down to it. You want to be androgynous as a man. Learn how to shut down your fucking masculine side and be more attentive and listen more receptive of information. That's what the fuck was that? Must be popping off. Hold up, I must be cooking with grease. Shit moving. Hold on. What the fuck was that? Fuck that was shit got moving over there. Fairy kingdom shit going on. I think about the phone. Yeah, that was when my phone slid off the fucking dresser on the arm. But yeah, anyway, we're jumping off of this, bitch. So yeah, like I say, that's true androgyny. You don't necessarily have to do outwardly feminine things as a man or a woman, or doing outwardly manly things. It's a little bit more easier for women to tap into the androgynous side because we're more, as men, we take more pride in our masculinity, which I feel we should, especially as black men, because we've been broken down. One of the reasons why we take so much pride in our masculinity, and people say shit like, well, he must be gay. He trying too hard to prove he's not gay. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Sometimes it may be. Sometimes some niggas be hiding shit. But we come from after doing slavery, all this and feminizing shit, all this shit they did to us, to feminize us, all that raping and treating us less than a man and all that shit. By the time we finally got freedom or whatever and started to come into our own, so to speak, masculinity became a big deal based off of that. So we take extra precautions in projecting our masculinity. So that's why cats like Mike and Prince more so. Mike really was just more. It was more so just the way he sculpted his face, the hair, and the voice. But with Prince, it was more so. He was more so. He was more so with the apparel, you know. Making songs like if I was your girlfriend and stuff like that, or whatnot. But with us, with a girl, it's easier for her to tap into her tomboy side, you know, like Aaliyah and like I say, baby girl, because she's sweet like her. They come from that Strictly Dickly era. Well, you don't even hear that shit no more. She'll tell you, you'll see her, she'll be out there with us flying on. I should have took that snapshot of that picture from Instagram when she had that goddamn that flannel on the Vita Loca style. You'll see her out there with us, you know, flying on jeans and shit. You know, same way baby girl, Aaliyah and Left Eye. They can do that, but you didn't necessarily look at them as bull daggers or butchers or no shit like that. You just, you know, it's just what it was, you know. But it's not you know, a nigga come out with a, you know, if you ain't Prince or somebody, some shit like that, you step out with some goddamn pantyhose on some shit, you're gonna be hard pressed trying to tell me, oh no man, I'm just tapping into it, but you don't really have to do anyway. I say you really want to get into the androgynous, you just listen to what I'm telling you, study both sides. And I say ultimately just be more receptive and learn more. Well, I just go look at the leader. So I pretty much know I broke it down there. We ain't gonna just keep beating you over the head and fucking up the present topic. But yeah. So but I was starting to see all to say like my eyebrows, they look waxed like a woman will go get her shit waxed, and my eyelashes kind of got like a curl, like a feminine curl to them. If you look at them or whatnot, or I can tell when I look at them, I can tell how my eyebrow curly kind of look feminine or whatever. But that's just how I naturally look. So now, one of the things that I liked about this, because it's more than it's deeper than just some gay niggas talking. No, it has it has some social commentary in it. Some of these guys are speaking. They're speaking with a sense of understanding where we, as black people, stood at in our oppression and what we stood at as far as being poverty-stricken or whatever. You see that in this right here. And these are some intelligent guys. It ain't just some, you know, some dudes just jumping out. Oh, this no. These niggas just talking some real shit that you can. And these niggas is gods. I'm telling, bro. Let me not get ahead of myself. You gonna see when I get to this shit. How about I say when Bobby said you can't be, you have to watch that judgmental shit when it comes to spirituality. He was right, because these niggas is gods. The names alone, some of the names, man. First and foremost, they're doing what nigga shit. What's nigga shit? Taking something and making nothing up. Taking nothing and making something out of it. In this case, it would be within the context of fashion or whatnot. Well, based off of where we're at, financially speaking, from the ghetto and poverty-stricken, we may not never make it to that Paris runway. But you know what we'll do? We'll create our own ghetto runway in the fucking Harlem or in New York, wherever they was at in New York. That's magical shit within itself. You know, and you'll see them in process of using their imagination. Magi, the Magi, magic. That's what the basis of imagination or whatever. So I can see how the government can look at this and say, "Oh, hold up, these niggas is they are doing some things, or whatever." So now I learned some shit from one of the things I learned was now I'm a house music fan. Not gay though. You gotta understand about because house music is that's what I'm saying. Okay, you got the balls right. Now they got different cliques that all went and competed in these balls. But the clique were called houses. Now, two things that I found out. One, this is why house music is called house music. Now, I like house music because I like the music. That was shit. One of the reasons it stuck with me is because, go back to the inner child. I grew up hearing CeCe Peniston and Crystal Waters, She's Homeless. Who else? Rhythm is a dancer. All that shit. You know what I'm saying? I grew up hearing that shit. Not necessarily associating it with homosexuality. Just hearing this from the radio. I don't think like I said, we didn't always have cable. We kind of grew up, you know, cable didn't become a stable thing for me until like I say like between 9-4 and 9-8 it was off and on, and then like 9-8 on and out we had cable, you know, on a stable level. But between then it'd be like, you know, we'd have it and it won't have it. I still remember going to like 9-4 and 9-5. One of the highlights of going to San Antonio for summer vacation for like a week or whatever. I knew I was gonna be able to watch all the videos that I hadn't been seeing or whatever, because my grandma had cable. Peace be upon her name. But you know, shout out to my Yaya. So when house music was pretty much jumping off, you know, this is just shit we was hearing on the radio, but I wouldn't necessarily see in the videos. So we didn't even. Well, I didn't speak for myself. I didn't attribute house music as to the gay scene, or it was just music to me. I just like the music and shit, and more so now because when I hear these songs, it takes me back to those days or whatever when I was just a kid. You know, Robin S. and shit. You got this, especially now. Robin S. a bad motherfucker, boy. By the time I started, if my memory serves me correct, by the time I connected the dots, you know, we started seeing the videos, and you know, you start seeing the dancers, and you know, the dancers had a little sugar in their tank or whatever. In most of the video, you kind of start putting two and two together. Like, okay, then you start hearing, you know, growing up. Like I said, first when it started sprouting, I was still a kid, so I wasn't privy to conversations where like, well, you know, house music is gay. It was just shit you heard on the radio, and I liked the shit or whatever. But it's really just music that, for whatever reason, they ain't like they on that. You probably do have some house songs like that where they talking about gay stuff, and I don't know. Like I said, I ain't got a slew of. I don't want to exaggerate. Like, oh, I'm a house fan. CDs built to the top of the roof and all this shit. Nah, I just came on the radio and liked this shit. And then, what I said, like, you know what, that house music pretty good shit or whatever. But pretty much the song people I just named it, the songs that I was hearing, that it wasn't you know, you'd have to actually they wasn't talking. They just talking about regular love and partying and shit like everybody else, you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't shit by the time you can find out this would the gays be on or this they shit or whatever. It's too late. It's cause at the end of the day I ain't got a problem because it's just music. It ain't like you know they talk about kissing niggas and shit and whatever the fuck. But I never knew. Now that's why they call it house music though, because those different cliques of gay groups or whatever, and they had to group together because it wasn't like it is. And see, now it's all open. Everybody, it's pretty much you don't catch no flack for being gay now. But these people were gay at a time when people was riding out, gay bashing, hopping out, beating them up, choking them, killing them and shit. So they had to stick together, or whatever. So I could see them clicking up in different crews and cliques or whatever, due to the fact that the rest of the world probably looked at them in a certain light or whatever, to the point to where that made their bond within the gay community closer together. So, let me show you what one of the guys said. He said a house. So I found out what house music means. Now I will take it back to New Jack City. When the nigga said, New York slang, period. Now, what houses used to do, they used to do some shit called mopping. Pause. And mopping was basically boosting or going to the stores and shit and stealing, they poor. They trying to, they want to participate, these different people in these different houses want to participate in these, so you can watch the, because I ain't going to be able to give it all to you right here in this 1 hour sitting. I think I'm going to do another one tonight. I ain't got shit else to do. So it probably take me about 3 hours to do this one right here. But you can go watch it for yourself or whatever and come back and see what I'm saying and see what you get out of it. But there's so many words. So you had these houses going into clothing stores and mopping or stealing because they come from a poor background but still want to go to the balls, the underground balls or whatever. So they didn't have no money, so that's what one of the dude was explaining. The guy Pepper, which that nigga was a god. Pepper LaBeija, that nigga shit. His name, that nigga's man. That nigga's a real one. You say what you want to say. Oh, you gay? That nigga's real. Trust me on this one. That nigga name, that's a god. Beja, in India, you got a god called an androgynous god called Beja Shaguru or something like that. But his name is Pepper LaBeija. And that nigga was saying some real shit. Fuck all the he's gay. Oh, that's nigga. We don't get into it though. Like I say, I probably have to end this one in a minute so you can watch for yourself then come back. Check out what I'm saying, but I have to take my hat off to that nigga. That's what I'm saying. It be guys like that. You would probably, if you didn't know how to sit your bias to the side and have a conversation with him, you probably, I ain't talking that gay ass nigga. The whole while this nigga got jewels and shit. He could probably drop on you, but yeah. So I mean, the shit connected me because look at how all this shit come together. Mind you, the pepper mill in pepper is melon. That's what the melon referring to. But the pepper mill and Thank God It's Friday that Dave had the pepper mill, and She's All That. And I found out something else about that too. She's All That. It's a deity called She's All That. She's All of That. All of That. All of That. I gotta find it. ALIDAT. It's a Diddy called All of That. This shit is real in the field. And then you got some shit where I wrote a rhyme. Where I refer to myself as the Incredible Pepper Sprinkler. This is way before I even saw this guy, whatever. But the rhyme is funny because they got these, I forgot the name, they got these what's the shit called? Cooper. They got some fucked up deities basically that attack children or they possess children in a harmful manner or whatever. And the way you get rid of them is you have to put a slit in the flesh of the child and put pepper in them. Now mind you, I wrote that rhyme before I even knew this shit. So it's like, they go back to that Virgo thing with saying y'all talking about me and Mike. Virgos have a special relationship with kids. Like everywhere I go, I'm telling you, shit, not too long ago, kids, got the little boy called me Allah. He was a Muslim little boy. Even his mom walked by and he walked by, they was walking by and the little boy said, Allah. I was like, I ain't gonna make it like he looked at me and said it, but another Muslim, well, I think they was Muslim, his mama had garb on, she was fine the motherfucker too. This was a bad motherfucker. It was awkward though, cause she was with a dude. I came behind him in the grocery store line, and the goddamn little boy looked at me and said, Dada. I was like, what are we? You making it weird, little fella. You making it weird, your daddy's right. I guess that was his father, but so them motherfuckers be knowing. But that's why they use that. They take what you, something close to you or something that's special to you or whatever, and use that to try to attack you and shit. The government that is. So all that shit factors in here. But all this happened. Like I say, I just saw this movie for the first time about a week before the 4th of July, some shit. So I didn't know none of these guys' names. I didn't really know them guys' name, but the one guy, Willie Ninja, he kind of made it. He pretty much made it in the mainstream. All of them ended up on a talk show. So this was a thing in the 90s. That's why Bobby said it. But then when I watched the shit on YouTube, I went and looked at the comments. People were saying it. They was like, it's a few of them left because they knew it was a thing that everybody knew that that pretty much most of them guys from that film had died. But it ain't like they went in and I don't know how all of them died. A lot of them died from AIDS. One of them was a white girl. Now, see, this is what I was telling y'all about in that other video when I was speaking about love and hip hop shit. Now, that's why I say this shit was right on time. This is how I know it's spiritual. Now, there's a white girl. The white dude would. That's one thing I don't never do. That was a mix up right there. But I always, I don't get into the. If you're a man, you're a man. You're a woman. You was born a man. You came out your mama a man. I'm gonna call you a man. Sorry, that's just me. But that dude, he was telling a story where he was out on a date with a guy, and then the guy put his hand down there and seen he had an Oscar Mayer down there, and went off on him. Was like, this and that, and we ought to kill you, and blah, 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 blah. It was a big old thing, right? Which goes back to what I was telling y'all about that when I was saying that ain't no cool shit right there. If you living that life, you need to tell motherfuckers what you be. You look, cause motherfucker do look like a. Don't get me wrong, he do look like a. You know, you look close enough, you'll catch it. You know what I'm saying? But on the motherfucker did look like a fucking a woman or whatever. That's why that shit is dangerous. But the dude told him, "Oh, you got to go watch." I can't remember what he said verbatim, but he said the dude was like, "Oh, you freaking out to kill you," and I think they had I don't know if they tussled or so. I can't remember. But you watch it, you tell the story yourself. But he ended up dying. They ended up finding him strangled somewhere, which goes back to what I was telling y'all about what they were speaking on at the end of that Love and Hip Hop episode, where at the end, or they showed at the end the statistics: such and such amount of trans men were found dead every year, blah blah blah. And then the guy Miles, this dude, I think he said it. He spoke about it. Well, we're here for all the transvestites that was getting killed, and he was making it seem like they were being. That's what it was, if I'm not mistaken. He was trying to make it seem like they were being bullied, like it was a bully thing. People just going around killing transvestites just because they were trans, or transvestites was being found dead just because you had people out here who was against what they was doing and killing them on the strength of that. Which could be the case to a certain degree, but ultimately, if I was a gambler, man, I had to say most of the time it probably come from a lot of shit that a lot of situations similar to what the white guy in the Paris is Burning documentary went through, or had a situation like that where they probably find these transvestites dead because they are in the business. A lot of them are in the business of trying to fool straight men and trick them into, having relations with them or whatever, or see how far they can go with them before the man find out or whatever. That's dangerous shit. I'm telling you that as a straight man, because I fly off the handle and be ready to smoke a motherfucker. You touching and kissing on a nigga and that shit happened. I had to blow my top. So where was I going with that? But yeah, anyway, to take it back to the main line. So, to remind me what the nigga Nino said, that's a God too, that's something. I'm trying to save shit for the book, so I ain't gonna get to it. But anyway, when nigga Nino told his girl, you wasn't saying that when your mama was up there housing shit in Bloomingdale. I made a joke about that when when I was talking about the Brooklyn and Miami beef and shit. Or they on one of them, I think that one of the East Meets West videos or whatever. I was like, all the Brooklyn niggas probably went down there trying to house shit. Your mama you wasn't saying that when your mama was housing shit in Bloomingdale. Now, if you didn't know what the fuck Bloomingdale. Now I know New York slang, so I know housing shit basically so many words mean bogart and taking over, to a certain degree. So eventually, now when I first heard it as a kid, when New Jack City first came out, I ain't know what the fuck niggas talking about housing shit. I ain't know what the fuck Bloomingdale's was. I ain't know what the fuck housing shit meant. Cause I was like about 8 something. That's why I got heavy in the grew up and started studying New York hip hop and shit or whatever. But yeah, that's what and if I'm wrong, New York, you have to come correct me. But that's how I draw connections. So when he said housing shit in Bloomingdale's, basically Bloomingdale's is a clothing store or whatever. Basically what he's saying, you wasn't saying that when your mama was in there stealing the boosting out of Bloomingdale's or whatever. So when I saw this movie, at first I thought housing shit just meant, just how just some shit they came up with. Well, we housing shit, nigga. Get out the way, we housing, because that's how. Because it ain't just no. That's regular nigga slang talk in New York. Housing. I don't know if they still say it now. We housing shit, or you go listen to Outlaw by Pop. Housing these hoes, you know what I mean? Well, I forgot which one of them niggas. I think it was one of them niggas said it during in the dialogue in the beginning or whatever. So when I watched this movie, I said, oh, that's where that shit comes from, housing shit. Man, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give y'all this, and then I'm gonna stop right here. But the dude broke down what a house was. Let me show you what he said. So here go. Now that's what I'm telling y'all about. Looking at putting the differences to the side and looking at the similarities between yourself and others, or whatever. See what he said. What's a house? They defined it. He said, a family or a group of people. Well, I think this is my twist on it. I don't want to lie. This part, a family or a group of people who share a mutual bond. Though maybe not, I can't remember. But I know this part. He said the dude said a house is basically a gay street gang. He said, but instead of fighting, which go back to what I was telling y'all about how once upon a time we didn't necessarily always go straight to physical fighting. Sometimes we would settle disputes with dancing or rap battles or scratching, DJ battles and shit. We battle through the art. Which is what they're doing. This is what the niggas say. It's basically a gay street gang, but they fight by walking in a category of a ball, because the balls have different categories. So one category might be Marines, or like one was like one category I think they showed on the movie was going to school. So you had to dress like somebody that was going to school or dress like or one category might be dress like a business owner or some shit like that. That you have to put your best suit and shit on, or whatever, pantsuit and all that or whatever. But this is how they would battle each other. And he said this was what kept this is how they would battle each other. And sometimes he said even those would lead to fights, but he was like that was their form of battling as opposed to just straight up, which parallels us within hip hop, because once hip hop came along, which ain't even just hip hop, because even in Africa we used to I done read shit where battles would take place, but instead of actual fighting, niggas would dance and try to scare each other, see who can come with the scariest mask and all. It was a whole bunch of shit, or battle in different ways. Can you imagine that motherfucker say, okay, you know what? I want your land and you want our land. We don't gotta fight. Have a dance off. We beat y'all ass, we take your land. Nigga can't even fathom that though. Who the fuck knows? This is a vast world. The history of this world is, there's no beginning and there's no end around this motherfucker, so who knows? But I'm gonna stop right there. But I just wanted to show you how a parallel between that and hip hop. And let me mark this. I'm gonna start come back, so we put that down. Show you a parallel between hip hop, which is a masculine, well, I'm not gonna just say masculine because you got women aspect too, but where the emphasis on masculinity and being hard as it should parallels what could be looked at as kind of the opposite, I guess. Men who are soft and partake of feminine characteristics or whatnot. So hold your head. The Black Mac will be back. Peace.